a Bishop of Llandaff numeracy support video on how to calculate percentages. The first thing to point out is that percentage means out of 100. In terms of calculating percentages, we tend to find 2% first every time. Those percents are 50% because 50% is the same as half, i.e. dividing by 2. So 50% of 600 would be 300. The other percent that we tend to go and find straight away is 10%, and that is because it is easy to find. You divide by 10. It is the only percentage that actually does what the percentage of that amount is. So in this case, 60. Now from the 10%, I know that I can double that, and that would give me 20%. So that would mean that 20% would be double the answer of 10%, so 120. If I know 20%, then I also know 40%. 40% would be double of that, which is 240. And if I know 40%, then I also know 80%. 80% would be 480. I could do the complete opposite of the method I'm doing here, which is doubling, and halve. So half of 10% would be 5%, and I can calculate that 5% would be 30. If I wanted to go even further, I could find 2.5%, which would be 15. If I come to the other side here and look at the 50%, then if I halve the 50%, I can calculate 25%, would be 150. And then I can find 75% very easily by adding together the 50% answer and the 25% answer to get 450. I could also use the answer to 10% is equal to 60 to work out 1% being equal to 6. Because I've taken the 0 off that side, I've just taken the 0 off that side here as well. Effectively, I'm dividing both sides by 10, but that's the trick we can use if they both end in zeros. If I know 1%, I can find any percent I like. I'd literally just have to times it by whatever I wanted. So for instance, 3%, I've made this 3 times bigger, so that means I must make this side 3 times bigger. So 3 times 6 would be 18. Again, for 500, I do exactly the same theories. We are always going to start by finding 10 and 50 and start building up our percentages from there. So 50% would be equal to half, which is 250. And then 25% would be half of that, which would be 125. So 75% would be 307. If I came and worked on the 10% side, to find 10%, divide by 10. That means you can take a 0 off if these numbers end in zeros. That would give me 50. Double it, 20% would be equal to 100. 40% would be equal to 200. 80% would be equal to 400. And I could have come down this way and said 5% would be equal to 25. If I've got a number like 340, then I still use exactly the same principles. I will find 50% first by halving that number. So half of 34 will give me 17, and then the 0 added on the end. So 25% would be half of 170, which is 85. 75% would be these two added together. So 5, 5, 2, 255. 10%, just take the 0 off. So 10% would be equal to 34. So 20% would be equal to 68, and 40% would be equal to 136, and so on and so on and so on. When we get questions such as find 46% of 780, then what I would do is I'd use that 780 as my base number. I would start by finding 50%, which is 700, if we split it into its hundreds and its tens, so half of that would be 350, half of that would be 40, so that put together would be 390. And then 10% would be 78. Now to make 46%, I could double this to get, so the 78, so if I split it into 70 and 8, double both components, so I get 140 and 16, I get 156. So 40% would be equal to double of that. So double of 150 is 300, and then double of the 6 would be 12, so 312. 5% would be equal to half of the 78. So if I look at finding half of 78 and I use the tens and the units I already have up there, then half of 70 is 35 and half of the 8 is 4, so put those together gives me 39. Now I can quite easily see that I can make 45 by using the 40 and the 5, but I was asked to make 46. So if I go and make the 1% by taking the 0 off the 10%, so I take 0 off the other. Now this is where that trick doesn't work. Effectively what I'm doing is I'm dividing both sides by 10. So I've divided this by 10 to get rid of the 0 here, so I need to divide this by 10 to get 7.8. So from here I can see that I can make 46%. I need to add together 312, 39 and 7.8. So adding those together is going to give me 8, then the point. The 2 add 9 is 11, add the 7 is 18. So I carry on 1 over to the other side here. And then 1 add 3 add 1 is 5. And then 3 add nothing is 3. So my answer is 358.8 for 46%. Now there are loads of different ways I could have made that 46%. I could have focused on the 50 here, taken away 5% and added the 1%. That's another way I could have made it. I could have found 1%, doubled it to get 2%, doubled that to get 4%, and taken off just the 4% off 50. There are loads and loads and loads of different methods to work that out.